Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It is me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling. We're going to break down the state of professional wrestling. It is December 15th, 2021. 1215-2021 for you math geeks. Now, joining me as always, Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
Well, what's going on? Not much yourself.
No, not much at all. No, not much at all. I'm ready to do some wrestling talk.
Oh my God! It's like every time we're on, that
Well,
next day news freaking breaks.
I know we should do a
Bud
Wednesday.
heavy.
We should do a Thursday show. So listen, look,
Yeah.
I got the new Budweisers. They come in like different like holiday cans,
All right.
right? And with that, I've got Los
Oh jeez.
Rijos, which is is it on the cheaper end tequila, but it's still not like that orange stuff that has the worm in it. That like you know even if Cuervo, the original Jose
Yeah.
Cuervo one, that one that's like oh Christ, why would we drink that? But we did. Um, all right, you got some news that you
I.
want to talk about in the world of wrestling. Let's get into it.
All right. So yeah, there's been some small little rumor nuggets that I wanted to touch on from Cage side. There's one with there was the arcade Bronament that was supposed to come to a head at the day one pay per view to find out who the who's going to be challenging RK Bro for the tag team championships. Supposedly, there's something up with Montez Ford. They had to postpone the matches. They don't think it would be. They don't think it needs to be canceled. They're just pushing it back. And all they're saying is that something is up with Montez Ford. Nobody knows what's going on, but there's something there. Um, so I've heard speculation. They think it's possibly COVID, which I would find weird because Bianca Belair's still been on television. But it's always weird to note when someone is conspicuously absent and it's not predicted to be long, and there's nothing on what's going on with them. So we've
Uh,
got that.
I mean, it could be a personal reason, right? They don't have to disclose everything they're gonna go do.
No, it's just weird. It's always weird when they're like super hush hush about things like that, though.
Well, they were hush hush when The Rock got a boob job. They were.
Yeah,
He came back to the WWE, WWF at the time. His chest looked different, and he was bruised on both sides of his body, really bad right here. And he wrestled a couple matches like that with big, gigantic bruises because he got a boob job. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
um. So yeah, just something weird. Apparently, Scarlett Bordeaux in a virtual signing had said that there were no plans for Carrion, now Killer or back to Killer Cross, to return to Impact Wrestling, which is interesting because also over the weekend, Ring of Honor held their what I think is going to be their very final pay-per-view event. It was Ring of Honor Final Battle, and the Titan Adam Scherr made a surprise appearance. EC3. It was actually really weird how the whole thing went down. Like
Yeah,
EC3 was
they
just
had a bunch of guys come out of nowhere at the end because they didn't know where to put them in the matches.
yeah.
That's literally what kind of happened. Like Braun came out, or whatever you want to call him now, and he just kind of came lumbering out. Like at the end, he wasn't. He was kind of like a surprise. It was
Yeah,
not very thought out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and he just kind of destroyed everyone except for and except for EC3. And it was just really weird because EC3 is just kind of like the whole time he's destroying the ring, just like is just staring out of the ring, holding a mic, just like it was just weird. But then shortly after that, I think it was like a day later, there was I don't know if you want to call it a picture or some kind of like flyer that that Sure had posted. And it was the Control Your Narrative with him, EC3, and Killer Cross in the middle of them. So it's looking like there might be some kind of new like stable or faction with the Titan Adam Scherr, Killer Cross, and EC3 that I don't know if they're going to make their rounds on the Indies, if they're going to show up in AEW. But one thing I think we know is that they're not going to be in Impact because if Killer Cross is part of that group and he's not going to Impact, there you go. That can eliminate one place. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. Seeing Adam Scherr
Braun,
pop back up.
wait, Braun, Karrion Kross, and who?
EC3.
That's horrible.
I actually think that's kind of a sick.
EC3
stable.
shouldn't be there.
I mean, have you seen EC3 lately? This dude is jacked. I mean, he's a little
Doesn't matter.
undersized.
He looks like Danny Terrio. He looks like he's built for disco. Look at his
Yeah.
face, dude. Look at the nose he's got. He doesn't fit those other two guys. Those other two guys are monsters.
Yeah, the goatee is a little funny too, but well, so I think part of the thing is like, so the control your narrative is EC3's like thing. It's his brainchild. So I'm wondering if it's almost going to be kind of like he's the ringleader, and Sure and Cross are kind of like his muscle, or the big guys that kind of back him up and that let him carry out his
I would enjoy it that
underhanded.
way.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the. I just don't know where they're going to do it. If it's going to be, because I know control your narrative was this whole. He did a match with I'm gonna look like an idiot because I don't remember if it was Matt Cardona, or if it was somebody else, but he did like a one-off match under like the control of your narrative, like it was like a cinematic like show that they dropped on a streaming platform or something. So I don't know if it's something he's gonna continue, if it's just gonna be like a group that he parades around the Indies, what's gonna go on with that. But it's definitely worth watching because it's just cool to see these guys not just going straight to AEW and kind of also doing their own thing.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's with all the wrestlers that are apparently alive in this world. Like, who knew there were so many wrestlers? Like, who knew there were so many people that are wrestlers? Because they're everywhere. There are so many shows of wrestling right now. Wrestling used to be you caught it once a week if you were lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like, oh my God, the amount of wrestling. And the thing is, so where else are they gonna go? Well, they're gonna go right to streaming. Why wouldn't they go right to streaming live? Streaming from YouTube, streaming from get a Netflix deal, have a bunch of matches that just go streaming live. Like, of course, go that route, right? Because you'd rather work for Vince and his crap, or go at AEW where you're buried. Like, if they were smart, they would get together at least 20 guys that were unsigned and start like a live streaming show where they could do much more cinematic things, have much better plot lines, have much better characters, and really bring people through almost like a cinematic thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they really could if you get the right wrestlers.
Well, I mean, we've seen that before. Matt Hardy was probably the first one who did it flawlessly, with his final deletion, with him and Brother Nero. They did it with Decay at Impact as well. They had like a cinematic battle. Honestly, we saw the WWE do it multiple times, but the best, honestly, one of the best ones, hands down, was the Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Because I don't care, who you are, watching that was, for what it was fantastic. So there's a lot of things you can do and not be bad. Like, if you have a little bit of money to kind of put into something, it doesn't need to be like, oh, I need hundreds of millions of dollars to start a wrestling promotion like AEW. I just need like 25 grand, a little bit of a production company, a place to shoot at, and you can put something out on YouTube, whatever, that will actually probably generate some views, get you some hype, and hopefully, land you a big deal somewhere. But to segue, speaking of Matt Hardy, we had kind of a longer conversation than I thought we would last week about what happened with Jeff, and then on Thursday he was released.
Told you.
So what do you think happened? What do you, I want to hear what you think before I tell you what I think and what I actually am pretty sure is going on.
There's two things with Jeff Hardy. One, it was had to do with alcohol or drugs, or two, it was an artistic and creative difference. Now, both of those things would make him one of the crowd, because he reminds me of my buddy Ray, Boom Boom, who is just like that. He would do something like that. So it's got to be one of those two reasons.
So, and again, this is biased fan. I mean, it's definitely possible that it could have had been some kind of drug related incident. He was supposedly released because WWE offered him rehab, and he said, "Nah, go screw, thanks." And so because he turned down rehab, that's apparently why they were able to terminate his contract. But Matt has like vehemently denied any kind of anything like that happening with Jeff, and has said that he's healthy, he's in the best place he's been. And there's also more videos come out of Jeff actually in the crowd, and if you watch that video, he's posing for selfies with fans, and he's saying hello to the fans and he's shaking hands and he's giving fans hugs. And it doesn't look like a guy who's out there tweaked or drunk. It looks like a guy who was kind of at the end of his rope, was tired of what was going on, and was like, all right, this is it. I'm done here. And walked through the crowd and was just saying goodbye to some of the fans that were there. He looked like he was just kind of having it with the crowd one last time in a WWE ring. There's some rumors floating around that he did all of this purposefully to get himself released. Matt has teased things with Jeff going back for months now. Saying like, oh, wouldn't it be great for I think a couple week like a week or two ago he posted something about he said like extremely something, but it was extremely, like it wasn't just ex. Kind of alluding to Team Extreme. And I think this was something where Jeff didn't want to finish his career with WWE and knew that his contract was probably so long with them that he wasn't going to be able to physically wrestle by the end of his contract, let alone finish his career on his terms with where and who he wants to. So I would like to believe, and I think this is what happened, is that he knew how he could get WWE to release him. And so he made a big stink. He made it look like things were going on. He left a match in the middle of the match. He wandered through the crowd. WWE probably was like, oh, he must be tweaking. We'll send you to rehab. He told them no. And that's when WWE was like, fine, you're done. I think he knew that would be the final straw, and it was his way out. He's actually already announced a meet and greet / acoustic like solo tour thing that he's doing. Which I wish he wouldn't do the solo acoustic song thing. I don't know if you ever listened to him, but I love the guy. He's not a great singer. But that's my take. I think it was all a setup.
Joe,
He just wanted to be
Joe,
released.
Joe, Joe. Right now, I feel like I got to tell my kid that there's no Santa. That's the position you put me in, Joe. Here I am,
Wait,
right now.
what?
Here
What,
it is. Here I am,
what do you mean?
12:45 into the show, and now I got to feel bad about this, Joe.
There's no Santa?
Joe, Joe, Joe. If he's in a lot of pain, which he probably is, he's probably on a lot of pain pills, which he probably is. Mix it with alcohol, that's when you get something that happens where it's craziness. I know you'd like to think that he was pretending that, but that's just not something people pull off nowadays. He is dealing with what he's dealing with. I hope he gets better, and I hope he moves on from wrestling. I hope he heals up and goes and plays some bad music or makes horrible statues that look like they're made out of like Reynolds wrap. It's like the almost he's the worst artist I've ever seen in my life. Everything he does is awful, yet he's an artist. And I don't want to be like, dude, yeah, I don't like any of it. None of it. No, none of it. None of it actually.
I'm a shill for the guy, but I know I agree with you 100%.
You know what I
His
mean?
art is weird, and he's never been the greatest vocalist, and the lyrics he writes aren't great. But you're right. If it's an outlet for him and it works, and it can get him by and it helps him, then yeah, I mean, by all means, go for it. But I mean, I know you're probably right. It's just I hope it's not as bad. I mean, because it didn't look nearly like it did in 2011 with Sting. He was at least coherent or seemingly coherent when he was out in the crowd talking with fans, and he, it looked better than stuff like that with him had in the past. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right. Can I move on to Raw?
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
All right. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is now the man. He's the man.
He
right now.
He should be.
But how is he not going after Roman Reigns yet? Because they're playing the same sort of role. The arrogant, I know I'm so good that I got guys that are beneath me. They're both kind of playing the same role, dude. I mean, in a weird way. Like Bobby Lashley wants to beat everybody up. And he came out and beat Kevin Owens, then Seth Rollins, and then Big E?
Yeah.
All right. Start off with that. What are your thoughts on the push for Bobby Lashley?
All right. So this isn't my take, but it's weird that is he supposed to be a heel or a face? Because
he's like a both. He's a face because he's a heel.
Because he's clearly a heel character, but what he did on Raw is a face move. You know what I'm saying? Like usually it's the face that that has to like fight through the gauntlet to get the title opportunity. Granted, this could also be taken as he's such a badass heel that like they're like, yeah, let's see if you can face all three guys in one night. And I mean, there were some interferences, there was some things that happened, but for better or for worse, I mean, he ran through all three top card contenders, and he looked really good doing it. And I think the stories that they told and the setup was also phenomenal. Um, Basically like with Kevin Owens coming out in the Seth Rollins match, and basically like super kick. I think he super kicked Rollins in the face and was like, "Well, I'm helping you because now you win because he's disqualified and now he's out of the match." But yet obviously it got restarted, and they let him go. But the storytelling was actually really good. And then Seth and Kevin Owens coming out for the last match, and Big E getting put to the table and Seth going to the table. Like it was just it was honestly really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Could you make him more dominant though?
No, I mean, I think it was perfect. I was 100% convinced that Seth Rollins was going to win the title. I'm kind of thinking Bobby might regain. I mean, in a sense though, because granted, you do the fatal four way, it gives you an out, so Bobby doesn't have to get pinned to lose the match technically, so you can protect him in that regard. They'll probably gang up on him. I'm sure he'll go through a table or take multitude of chair shots to the back because that hurts apparently. But he'll probably be incapacitated, and Seth will end up going over. But it really kind of puts that seed into your head where it's like maybe Bobby can actually win back the championship. That I mean, technically he didn't lose cleanly, so I don't know. But it was actually for being it Raw. I thought it was actually well done.
He I think this is the ultimate swerve. Like I think they made him look this dominant so that we are like, oh man, Bobby Lashley's gonna win it. Like that's you know what I mean, and
Yeah,
that's where the swerve comes. So I like how
I
they started off. You know what I mean? I
I
love the three matches.
I
Good.
just wish that they stacked the cards so heavily for this show, and then it definitely affected the rest of the show. But it wasn't terrible. Um, there was actually some pretty good highlights from the show.
All right, go on. Let me hold on. Let me go on to the. I'm answering somebody's question on wrestling. The next match was let's go over Otis versus Riddle.
So I mean, this was a fine match. This was a really good match. They're both quality wrestlers. I think we've always said that Otis is actually very talented in the ring. He's funny. Um, I I don't know how I feel about Riddle like now using the RKO. I get it, like it's actually in story and kayfabe why he'd be using it because he wants to be like Randy. Hey Randy, but he like here he sets up for it. Otis counters, hits the pop up slam. I, I mean it was I like Otis going over him too because I mean Otis should get the win. Otis should be getting clean wins like that. I think Alpha Academy is a tag team to watch going forward. They're both too good to just be relegated to the background.
All right. I like Riddle. I like the comedy Riddle. I hope he keeps it up. This is a perfect chance where they could have had multiple comedy, but they're not allowing Otis to do that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because he's supposed to be the alpha heel now.
But yet they both would have a funny match if they could
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah.
All right. Bianca Belair defeats Dewdrop via pinfall after a 450 splash. Now, tell me why she's still calling herself Dewdrop.
I mean, I don't know why she's still calling herself Dewdrop. However, in another little piece of rumor news from Cage side, WWE did trademark Piper Niven, Piper Niven rather.
Piper
Um,
Niven.
so fingers crossed that I mean it could be them just basically buying the name so she couldn't use it if she leaves because it is actually when you think about it, it'd be kind of messed up now if they're like, "Man, we're done with you, you're fired," and she can't even legally use her former ring name. But we can hope that that she's getting enough support and that she's showing a lot of herself in these matches. Because again, this was a good match too. Um, there was a couple miscues, but that happens. I mean, it's live TV. I mean, shit happens. Overall, they seem to have her and Bianca have very good chemistry. She seems to be a safer worker than Nia Jax was in that role. Um, and I think that kind of stuff gets noticed in the back. That Dewdrop, she's taking this crap gimmick and she's making it work. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her get her old name back at some point, like just being the monster heel and being like, screw everyone. I am not Double D Dewdrop. Like, I'm Piper Niven. Fuck you guys.
That's oh my God, if she has that promo, I'm all for her. Now
I
I'm on board.
I do love though, I think it's her Twitter handle. Her Twitter handle is Double D. I believe it's like her name is like at Double D something something. Like, I think that's funny. I wish they'd play into that more instead of just calling her Dewdrop. Like, if she just like called herself Double D, like, I like the humor in that. But
Double entendre.
yeah. But I digress.
All right. Liv Morgan attacked Becky Lynch during Becky Lynch's victory celebration.
So Liv is going to win the Raw Women's Championship at day one. I mean, it 100% can happen. I don't think she'll hold it for very long. She'll probably lose it at Royal Rumble, but I think she's going to get a chance to hold that title. Her push has been really good. She's being received very well by by the WWE universe. She's getting a lot of credit backstage for how she's been working. I think her segments with Becky have been pretty good. She's sold the injuries pretty well. I think she's got a lot of fire. She's still a little rough with the in-ring talent. Like, if you look at the sequence where she runs in, like, I forget what she did at first. It was like some punches that kind of looked a little silly, and then like she did like a kick or something that didn't look great. But then she goes for like that. I think she hit like it was like a body kick, like a side. I forget what they call it, like a roundhouse kick. Rob Van Dam used to do it, and then she hits like an enziguri. It looked so good, and I was like, damn, all right, okay, I get what you're doing. Like, she's clearly been working. So yeah, I like everything they're doing. I really hope it results in her getting at least some kind of title reign. I think she deserves it. I mean, she's taken some really awful gimmicks and been in some really awful positions. Like the Bobby Lashley and Lana and Rusev thing that happened, whatever that was.
That made no sense.
No, especially because it was like, oh, she's Sister Abigail, and then she comes out as like Lana's lover, and it's like, how did we get here? Like, what? How did we get to this place? So, yeah.
All right. I gotta be honest, the whole Liv Morgan Becky Lynch thing, I hope it gets better. I do. I hope it gets better. I haven't been a fan so far. I don't know. Liv looks stiff.
I mean, okay, that is the other side of the fence, I guess, to play. All right. I mean, yeah, a little bit. I think, like I said, I think she's still rough when it comes to her in-ring talent. I think she's come a very long way. And I'm telling you, if you don't remember it or haven't seen it or just need a refresh, just watch that segment and watch the triple up kick she does that leads, or the double kick that leads to the enziguri. I mean, it's actually very well executed.
All right. Dirty Dogs defeat. Don't put Damian Priest and Finn Balor on a tag team together, please.
I don't think they are.
Don't do it.
But
then again, they still Look, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with this match's finish. Like, in other words, I don't have a problem with the Dirty Dogs going over Damian Priest and Finn Balor. You know why? The Dirty Dogs are a tag team. They're announced as the Dirty Dogs. They should beat two single stars in Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Who should not even be in the match to begin with. But I don't have a problem with who won.
So there are so many layers to this, and it's going to completely so I get why you liked that they won, but you know why they actually won? Not because they're a tag team, but because one of the two Dirty Dogs is going to feud with Damian Priest. And they also used this. They threw Finn Balor in the tag match to have Austin Theory interfere and then antagonize Finn Balor, because Austin Theory's first big boy feud is Finn's going to be putting him over. Finn's a former Universal Champion, has been around for a while. He's held the NXT Championship twice. Finn is going to be the first person that puts Austin Theory over. I'm not thrilled about it. And I think it's like I get, obviously Finn's probably never going to get to where I wanted him to when I first started watching again back in 2016. But I mean, come on, man! Like I gotta watch a I gotta watch a feud with Austin Theory, who I'm not sold on at all, even though they want me to be. And I gotta watch like my favorite wrestler put him over, who deserves way better than this. It's a tough spot, man.
Yes. Yes, it is. For Finn Balor, yes. Yes, it is. Next match, though, however, I don't like it. I need to explain to me. Queen Zelina defeats Rhea Ripley with what? A roll-up. Carmella and Nikki Ash provided distraction, although Nikki's was unintentional, allowing Zelina to get the win in a very short match. Joe, a really short roll-up? What the Christ is that?
And Rhea is a relatively recent former women's champion. It's a bad look. I think it's gonna blow off with I still think we're heading towards a Rhea Ripley Nikki Ash mini feud where Rhea is just gonna destroy Nikki to like regain her street cred. And sadly they used Rhea to get Queen Zelina over, because now that she's the first queen of the ring, they have to push her and push her. It's the same thing that happened with Xavier Woods. Is they're pushing Xavier Woods to the moon, and Zelina they're trying to force push her as well. And your girl Rhea was the sacrificial lamb.
Why? But why are they? Why?
Yeah.
Why are they put? Why
Yeah.
push her? Why are they pushing? Why are they pushing her, Zelina? Why is? Oh, never mind.
All right. So your reaction is my reaction to the previous match when Austin Theory came out, and I'm like, I know what's happening. Why?
All right. So then now you want to get really lazy on Raw? You want to get really lazy on Raw? Let's have Miz and Edge brawl during a Miz TV segment. Oh my God.
The setup for the what the hell does he call his reverse what does he call that? The Miz, that I can't think of the name of his
crushing finale?
Yes. The setup for that was so bad too. Like Edge just stood there and waited for it to happen after like I don't know. You know, he goes for the spear and the Miz throws Maurice in front of him, and you know, the distraction caused Edge the Miz to I forget if he punches or kicks him, but it just looks so weak. And then Edge has to fake that he's like so dazed, and then gets hit with a skull crushing. It was such a bad look.
The Edge and Miz segment. Like I kept having deja vu every 3 to 4 seconds. I kept going. I got deja vu. 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 You know why? Because I seen everything they gave me. I've seen it all before. I have, and I've seen things coming. You notice how Maurice is getting into it more and more and more?
Yeah.
All right.
And Beth Phoenix mysteriously quit NXT. I think she quit NXT because she also didn't want to be part of that anymore with what's going on. But it also very much fits into your very early speculation that she's going to be inserted into this match at some point.
That's the thing. I was saying that they had to go to that from the beginning. Look, this is an easy segment for Edge. It is.
Yeah.
This is a good time. I'm telling you. Look what he's doing. Remember I told you he must need some time off, so they're going to put him in a thing with the Miz?
Yeah.
Joe, they've now not really had him wrestle for a couple weeks in a row. That's awesome for Edge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome in general, because I think they need to do that more often with feuds, where they need to keep guys. I mean, we were literally talking about this a week or two ago. They need to keep people separated. They can't just keep like, well, all right, so you guys are going to wrestle on Monday, and then next Monday you guys are going to wrestle again, and then the following Monday it's going to be a tag team, and the following Monday you'll get a break, and the Monday after that you're going to wrestle, and then by the time we get to a pay-per-view, and again, this isn't my take. This was not WrestleMania. No, we talk about them all the time. Andy Wilborn and Adam Murray, the news, What Culture Wrestling, had mentioned that, coming into WrestleMania, we're almost at WrestleMania season. Like, what big matches are you gonna put on at WrestleMania that we haven't seen? I mean, they've done everything, and they've done it multiple times right now. There's no big match where it's like, oh, I see the setup for that and I can't wait. I mean, I hope maybe we could see a Bobby and Brock match. That would be cool.
What do they got left for WrestleMania? You've got Roman versus The Rock.
That's so from what I understand from everything I've read, that is for next, so not 2022, that's 2023's WrestleMania.
All right. So then you at least got all right. Roman versus Brock. That's the lock with the whole Paul Heyman angle.
I mean, yes, but like, if you're telling me that Roman versus Brock is the main event of WrestleMania again, I'm not tuning in. I've seen that match so many times. Like, it's not going to be any different just because it's WrestleMania. Like, if that is what ultimately happens, I will not watch. I'm telling you, I won't watch WrestleMania. Because what else are you what else can you force feed me about what WrestleMania can be? Big E's not going to be WWE champion. He's not going to main event either night. I mean, Bobby Lashley has to be in there somewhere. Like, I would like to see Bobby versus Brock for the WWE Championship. I think that would be a headline for WrestleMania. That would get people to watch. I mean, Brock is middled with the Universal Championship for way too freaking long. Like, who cares about that championship?
If you want to get Bobby Lashley involved, you're going to end up with a 3-way. I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. That if they involve Lashley, it's going to be Lashley, Reigns, and Brock. Just telling you, that's what's going to happen.
I want to see Brock and Bobby one-on-one. So everyone wants to see it. That's been in the back of everyone's mind since Bobby came back to the WWE for years now, because that's been like one of the dream matches. So that's something I would like to see for WrestleMania. But like, what else are we going to see at WrestleMania that we haven't seen over the last 6 months?
So wait a minute, Brock, Roman, right? Bobby Lashley, Big E, that's 4.
KO just re-signed a contract, so I'm sure he's going to get a.
I'm not going to count KO yet. I'm going to go with McIntyre next at 5, and then 6 would be. I guess would that be Seth Rollins? Run that back. What I just said.
You said Brock, Roman, Bobby, Drew, Seth. And who am I missing?
I don't know. Because that's where I would put my my 6-man.
I mean, you got to remember too. There's still AJ Styles and Randy Orton. I don't care about age.
I wouldn't put them in the chamber with these 6 guys.
Oh, we're going back to the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, these guys are beasts.
I can't wait till they do an Elimination Chamber just to satisfy this like itch you have for this match.
Reigns, Brock, Bobby Lashley, Big E.
Oh, Big E, that's
4. And who are the other 2 now?
Drew McIntyre,
Seth Rollins. Oh my God, that right there would be fucking incredible. Joe, think about that for a second. That would be an incredible match. No?
So I'm not. It would. Don't get me wrong. The issue is WrestleMania is 2 nights now, so they're not going to take 6 of their top stars and put them in one match and then have to figure out the rest of the card. So that's why that's sadly just not going to happen. And that's the issue that they're in, is they went from having too much talent to now having very little what would be considered top of the card talent. Like Braun Strowman would be perfect for either a feud with Roman or a feud with Big E or being in either of these title opportunities. And the fact that he's just not there because something that they didn't like happened and they fired him or they released him, whatever, it's infallible to me. Like
Can I do you one better? Can I just do you one better? Bray Wyatt would be so big right
yeah,
now in the WWE if he stayed, if he was there. If they let him just control what he wanted to control, he could be absolutely huge. And the reason I do not like the Fiend as much as I like the uh,
the cult
Southern
leader.
Drawl cult
Yeah.
leader, because the Fiend's he's his own character. They tried to involve somebody else and it just didn't work. It's his own thing. It's like a horror character. But the cult leader, man, we want that guy back, please.
I would
You know
have
what I'm saying?
actually loved to see them give him the Mick Foley treatment and just like embrace him having like a split personality. So like he would do the vignettes as the Firefly, the leader of the Firefly Funhouse. But
Yep.
like anytime he was doing not so like Finn Balor uses the demon. Whenever there's a big match that he's all revved up for, he comes out as the Fiend, right? But any other time, not on a big pay-per-view, maybe you only do the Fiend like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, a couple of those kinds of shows. Every other time he comes out as the cult leader. So only when he's doing the TV spots is he the leader of the Firefly Funhouse leader, and then his other persona that he uses in person when he's actually wrestling would have been the cult leader Bray Wyatt, and they just let him embrace these different sides of this character to show like he is just mentally like so fractured, and that when all of these different pieces of him come together, it unleashes the Fiend, and it just ends up. I think that they could if the writers were good they could really do something with that because they need an element that keeps you watching these shows because like tell me why after going through Raw that I actually want to tune in next week to watch the Dirty Dogs probably wrestle Damian Priest and somebody else, or to see RK Bro wrestle Alpha. Like it's gonna be Riddle versus Chad Gable next week, or we're gonna get some variation of Bobby Lashley wrestling KO or Seth, or it's gonna be Big E and Bobby versus KO and Seth. You know what I mean? Like I could already probably predict a rough outline of what we're gonna see something with Rhea Ripley and Queen Zelina and Carmella. She's probably gonna get mad at Nikki next week, and maybe she's gonna lash out at Nikki. We're gonna see something with Dewdrop and Bianca Belair again. We're going to see some kind of promo with Becky Lynch that's going to involve an injured Liv Morgan because now she's got like a kayfabe. And like I can literally outline to you what we're going to see next week. So why am I going to tune in now?
I don't know. I mean, I don't tell you, Joe. I don't. Look, I've been saying for a while. I don't know where they're going with this. What's going on? Who's running this? What's going on? I tune in because I keep expecting it to get better.
Honestly,
Every week, I
the,
go, oh, it'll be better this week, and it's
the,
not.
the show to watch is SmackDown. I mean, there's a reason we don't really sit here and break down SmackDown, and it's because SmackDown's consistently a decent show. I think a big part of that it's only a 2-hour program, but SmackDown is also always hitting their demographics. They're always pulling good numbers. I mean, have you seen the photo of the Raw arena that's floating around social media? Where like that whole left side of the arena is just absolutely there's just
They're
I've been
blocking it
to
out.
yeah, and I've been to a Raw show and they do like that whole left side where the camera is usually set up, like all of that. There's no fans. That's all always empty. But I mean, it's even like worse. I mean, to the sides and coming around in the back half of the ring. And from what I gather, they still sold really well. It was like over 5,000, like 5,100 people. I guess that's pretty good for like a wrestling event. But the venue held 17,000. So it's like maybe they should scale back the arenas that they're going to. I don't know, but it was a bad look and a bad time for Raw.
Yep. But they are going to scale it back, and Joe, it's happening. Like they're getting out of control, man. They don't care about the fan. Like WWE is getting to the point where it's getting pretty close where they're starting to be like, you know what? We don't care if you watch. We don't care if certain people leave. We know that there's certain people, probably like myself, that will tune in every week, no matter what. It could be, Joe, that they're just giving up on us.
So I think that they're just trying to maximize profits. That's all it is. It's just a way for them to rake in as much money as possible and squeeze as much juice and life out of this as possible before they blow it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, going back to it, I forgot all about this. Supposedly the ref that they fired, I don't think it was Mike Chioda. He was a famous ref, an older guy. I can look it up if you want. Uh, but he went on a
I know
podcast.
Mike Chioda.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was him or not. Like I know he's a ref, but I don't know if he was the one. Um, but there was a ref who was released recently and went out and basically kind of like dropped a bombshell saying that there is a massive that the McMahon family is basically like in shambles, and that Shane, obviously we all know Shane was excommunicated for a while, and he came back and then he left again and now he's gone again. So there's a lot of, so he's saying that like Shane doesn't get along with Stephanie and Triple H. Shane didn't like Triple H joining the family, and he doesn't like what they've done. And now everything with NXT could be creating a rift between Triple H and Vince, and that there's just a huge fracture in that family because of everything that's gone on. So I can't imagine that they're gonna want to keep this, especially Vince at his age. Like at some point, the guy's just got to be like, "Hey, I'm cashing out. It's been real. It's been fun. I've literally done everything in this company for this company. I just see ya. I'm out." I don't know. You'd think he'd want it to go to someone who's gonna care for it better. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me that at this time, in the face of the greatest competition they've ever had, I mean AEW, I'm sorry, is bigger threat than WCW ever was. It, they're just they're just
I don't know
doing
about
this.
that. I don't know about that. Not yet. I mean, WCW took it all, just was destroying for a while.
Yeah, but
So
I think
AEW's not there yet.
they're pretty close, man, and they're I think driven by somebody who's more in touch with what people want than Bischoff and Russo ever were. What happened with WCW is they got hot because of the Kevin Nash and Scott Hall thing, and then they ran into the buzzsaw that was the Attitude Era of the WWE, where you just had, the Kanes, the Undertakers, The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Mankind. You just had great top of the card guys. You had some great fixtures in the mid card. It was entertaining. It was edgy, and that was kind of able to overtake that. I mean, WCW, the writing was awful. Like everything was just falling apart over there. I don't think AEW is gonna be like that. Like Cody Rhodes comes from a very prolific, real wrestling family. He's got a good backer with money who also loves wrestling and knows what he needs to do and is not afraid of spending money. There's talent there. From all accounts, it's a fun place to work. People actually enjoy being there. I mean, WWE's got to do something different, and they're just not. They're actually just doing the same thing, and they're insane. The WWE is literally insane.
Well, see, that's the thing. You just said they gotta do something. They don't. They don't have to. They should.
Well, you're
But they
right.
don't
You
have to
are
do
right.
anything. They don't have to do. They're like Paulie from Goodfellas. You know, Paulie didn't have to do anything. He just stand there. Paulie didn't move for anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody. And that's what it's kind of like. All right, let me get on to the next match. Well, actually, there was no other match.
No,
Wait,
because I mean we already kind of talked about
God damn, that
the.
cut it short. No, they cut it short. Like that's that the last segment. I figured it would have been more of a match.
Well, I mean that last match was pretty sick, but yeah, it went from the Miz TV into the final gauntlet match for the Almighty. Um, Man, it was this storyline that they're doing with this fatal four way. Is actually in my eyes really good because Seth and KO bring a really good comedic relief effect to this. Obviously, we all know KO is probably not going to win the title. However, he did just re-sign with WWE, which I think they appreciate. so he might be in line for a rub soon because he's being a team player. Seth is always a danger to win the championship. Bobby Lashley is always a danger to win the championship, and then Big E could very well retain. Like, they actually have a story with their 4 top card guys, where going into this fatal 4-way, like, you could kind of make a case for any of them to win, and they're doing it in a way where it's not the same thing every week, which is nice. Unlike every other match and story on Raw, where like there's just little things that are different and things change, and like it started with just with Seth and Big E, and then KO got thrown into it, and now Bobby Lashley's getting thrown into it. But KO and Seth are having like a lot of really like not fun in kayfabe, but fun as like acting wise. You know, like the fact that during the Seth and Bobby Lashley match, KO comes out and is basically like, "I'm helping you," as he's, you know, beating the crap out of Seth because that's causing Bobby to get disqualified. You know, and it's just like the little things like that where, you know, I don't know. I actually I like this story for it being WWE, and I think this might be the only reason to tune into Raw, just to see what they do with this now progressing over the next. I think it's like we got 3 weeks, I think, before this pay-per-view. So,
Joe, I want to read you this list that has been bothering me for a while now.
oh god,
It's a top 10 heavyweight. It's the top 10 WWE champs of all, top greatest WWE champions of all time.
all right. Let me buckle in.
Because they start to get nostalgic, but in the wrong way, and I think they screwed this whole thing up.
I was gonna say, it's like half of these I'm probably not gonna remember because I was too young.
That's the problem. You remember them all. Number 10, Ric Flair.
See, that's too high. Wait,
Well,
is it? Hold on.
WWE champ.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So then, was he ever actually WWE champion?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he won it off the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Oh yeah.
In what, the 80s?
When Hogan wasn't in there, around those years where Hogan left.
All right. So it had to have been like later 80s then.
I guess so, dude. Don't make me do math.
Because I just don't think he ever won a title.
He did.
He won a tag team championship when
No,
he
he was a
returned
heavyweight
after
champ.
WCW.
He's a WWE champion.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, after he left for WCW and then came back, I don't think he was ever main. Like, I don't think he ever held the main title. So it had to have been like 80s or something.
Early 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Number.
So I was a twinkle in my dad's eye.
Oh, they put a double number 10. The second number 10 is Randy Orton.
See, he should be higher because he's all right. See, so I think Randy should be higher because he's been one of the most successful wrestlers, you know, the last 2 decades. I mean, just sustained success, not even like he's just been there.
He's staying relevant.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guy too, which I love because he's never had like a full gimmick switch. You know what I mean? Like he's just always tweaked his character a little bit, but it's kept it relevant and fresh.
Yeah. He's been him the whole time. Number 9, Shawn Michaels.
All right. I've never been a big Shawn Michaels guy, but
no, he was incredible. His matches have always been some of the best
I know the quality, his in-ring quality. I just I don't know. I just never got behind him. And his first WWE championship title reign was not real. It was not legit.
Yeah. No. Well. Number 8, Triple H.
Again, I agree with this. Yeah, I'll tell you, growing up, like in the early 2000s, I actually really liked Triple H a lot. I loved watching.
Oh, he was a great heel.
Great heel. But he was, you know, outside. He was the first non like I don't want to say mythical, but like, you know, obviously Kane and The Undertaker, I'll say them a million times, had just phenomenal entrances. But Triple H was like the first just regular guy who just came out with this like ridiculously like good, and just like every time his music hit, you were like, I'm watching this until he spits water out of his mouth. Like, tell me another dude who you would wait to watch spit water out of their mouth.
It's gonna take me a long time. Everybody I know, and what I want to see them spit water. No, I'm stumped.
It was timed perfectly. I loved his entrance, man. Yeah, I was a big fan of Triple H.
All right. Number 7, Edge. Should Edge be higher than Triple H and Shawn Michaels?
No, God no. I mean, he had a great run, but that's crazy to me that he's higher than Triple H and Shawn Michaels. He should
Um,
be
and
just
Randy Orton and
yeah.
Rick. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he should be just barely breaking the time. Now, if you want to talk about, I wouldn't even say overall career because Randy Orton, I think, has had a better career than Edge.
He's won 7 world heavyweight titles,
To Randy's
5
13.
Intercontinental, 4 W championships. He's Edge has held 31 titles.
Damn.
Yeah,
But
so like Edge has held more
but
titles.
but you said the list is WWE champions,
Yeah,
so we
agreed.
can't take into account his other titles because
I
I would
agree.
agree that he's a more decorated wrestler than Randy Orton. But as a
I would put
WWE
him in there.
champion,
Yeah,
as
I don't
WWE
like that
champion,
spot.
I would have him barely breaking the top 10.
Man, I'm with you. I don't like that spot. I don't like that spot at all. All right. Number 6, Randy Macho Man Savage.
So he was I can't give commentary on this because I don't remember him.
First off, he has to be there. He was him and Ricky Steamboat put on probably the greatest match in WrestleMania history. Just nonstop move. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. He was an incredible athlete, incredible champion, very charismatic. Has to be there. I agree. Number 5, John Cena. Has to be there. Should be higher.
Yeah, I was about to say
higher.
he actually be higher.
Should be higher.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so now I'm gonna all right. So I don't know if I should say him out loud, but I'm trying to think in my head of who's gonna be higher than him. And obviously Taker will be higher.
Sleeping on Cena.
But yeah, like Cena.
And by the way, Undertaker's not even on this list.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, he didn't win that many WWE
championships. Really quick.
Yeah, really he only I think had like 3 or 4. He had a couple world heavyweight championship runs, but yeah, he actually didn't win that many championships. Now that I think about it.
All right, so you want to go? You ready? Are you ready for number 4?
Oh, I know who might be. I know 2, obviously.
Number 4?
Who's number 4?
Hulk Hogan.
See,
how is that possible?
Yeah,
how is he 4? How is he 4?
There, he should be top 3 and probably number 1 ahead of Stone Cold and The Rock.
No. There's one other guy they put at 1 that I agree with, but Hogan should have been either 2 or 1 or 2.
I know who's 1.
Number 3.
I know who 1 is.
Number 3.
Stone Cold.
The Rock.
Whoa. Really?
Yep. Higher than Hogan. Number 2, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
See, and I think The Rock should be ahead of Stone Cold, strictly for the fact that Stone Cold's career was cut short.
And Hogan should be in front of both of them.
And The Rock held the WWE Championship more recently. I mean, he's still held it within the last 10 years.
And Hogan should be in front of both of them.
Yeah. Number 1's Bob Backlund, right?
No, dude. No. Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Italian that held the belt for like how many years? He just held it for like years, dude.
But like, so Backlund's not even on this list?
Wow, no, Backlund was, dude. You history overinflates Backlund. Backlund was, so there was Bruno, and then Backlund became like the protege of somebody else, maybe even Bruno, and then beat him, turned heel and beat him. And then he eventually got beat, though, by the Iron Sheik, if I'm correct, because then that's what led to Hogan. Backlund was not a champ for a long time. Bruno held it for years, Joe. And wrestling was really big in Providence and in the whole Northeast, but big in Providence. And the Italians used to come down, and the Italian women would try to hit the wrestlers with their bags. Like, it was crazy how they believed that it was real. And Bruno Sammartino was in such great shape that he would always get beat up in his matches, and at the end he would come back, kind of like Hogan, and win the match, and people would be happy. He held it for, I don't know how many years, but years. We had whole years. 9 years without ever dropping the title.
Wow.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's incredible. Yeah,
he carried a whole franchise,
a whole decade.
If it wasn't him, there'd be no WWE. Trust me, he carried that whole thing. But Hogan should be 2.
Yeah.
Hogan revolutionized shit, right?
Yeah, and I'm still blown away that they put Stone Cold ahead of The Rock because, again, like I feel like this is taking into account like careers when if it's strictly just best WWE champions. I mean, The Rock was one of the best of like the last 20 years. He was electric when he was WWE. I mean, him and the WWE Championship are synonymous. You know, like Stone Cold only had a handful of reigns as well because his career was cut so short. That's amazing to me. It honestly, I think it should be Bruno, Hogan, and The Rock,
And then Cena.
and then Cena. Yeah, and honestly, you could argue Cena and The Rock flip flop if we're being brutally
Or
honest.
I think Cena gets in front of Stone Cold. How about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. That's another one too. I didn't even think of that. That I think. See, I like Stone Cold. I wasn't a big Stone Cold guy, but I think he's again, they're putting in like the popularity and the hype of that rivalry where they have to put them together. When I don't think you do. You know, I think
Well, I
Stone
mean,
Cold should have been.
let me say it this way: as far as like changing the industry, you had Hogan, and then you had Stone Cold. The Rock might have did it, but he did it after Stone Cold broke down the doors. That Austin 316 T-shirt and that comment sparked so much money for so many people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't ignore the fact that it was Austin that changed every. He's like when a band like Nirvana or Korn come around and they just change music completely. Like they make you go, oh, I didn't, dude. I remember when I first heard Korn, and you hear the, and then he comes in with the, are you ready? Blah, blah, blah. We were like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, what are they tuned to?
Yeah, because you hear the
Because they're
slap bass.
way down
Yeah.
in D. It's
You hear the slap bass and it's like, why am I hearing so much fret noise, man? Like, is this supposed to happen?
what is he tuned to? Is that what I kept
Yeah.
saying? But all right. Uh, here's my thing, Joe. So with this show, we've been recapping and going over stuff. I think it's time for us to start to put together a plan, like an on-air plan of how we're gonna. We should start our own wrestling thing, and we should start to like book more dream matches, like show that we can use their talent to do a better show on. Like, so in other words, if we compare our Monday Night Raw to theirs, we can come up with matches that would have been much better than theirs.
Yeah.
I want to see if
I
we can outthink them.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty interested to see if if my earlier spitballing what Raw next week is going to look like comes to fruition. So I think that'd be a great idea. You know, we
Dude,
could just do. I think it'd actually be cool. It will be cool when the new WWE 2022 comes out. You know, you're probably going to get it. I'm going to get it, and we could literally just like that's where we'll do our dream matches because we could do like an online thing. We could build it there and then bring it to the show in real life.
so I've already built. Listen, I'm with you on that. I can't wait for 2022 to come out.
Yeah.
I can't, right? Because I can't wait to try it on that. But my thing is, I want to start to book their shows better than they can. So we should book.
Yeah.
We should start to book Monday shows and the SmackDown shows for the next upcoming shows. Like we should start to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just let me know. Let me know what you. I mean, do you want to take? Do you want us to take each take a show?
No, I think we should both do the show together.
Okay. All right.
Because look, we want to do this right. We don't want to do it like the WWE. And so we want to
Yeah.
we want to like bounce it off each other and have like ideas and not be set in stone, but like get it done.
Yeah. All right.
So
Works
that's my
for
plan.
me. Yeah, that works for me. I hope
Joe,
it
what do
works
you got
for
to say to
everybody
wrap
else.
it up?
Man, I got nothing. I'm at the end of my semester. I got one more exam left. I'm freaking exhausted. I can't wait to be over it. Next Tuesday is my last exam. I can't wait to just take a month off, relax. I got like 2 full work days left before I get like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks off, man. Oh, I can't wait to just relax.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Christmas. And I'm going to a Pats Jags January 2nd, man. A lot of good things coming up.
Yeah, the Pats Jags. Oh, brother.
I only got those tickets because the game's gonna be a sack of garbage, hot flaming pile of trash. But I
tell you what, there's a chance that the Pats might not look that great either because they're gonna play to their level. There's a chance you might get a cold weather game where those two teams play and the Pats win like 18-0.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not like firepower, but that you might catch a game like that.
Hey, as long as I see Mac Jones attempt more than 3 passes, I think I'll be good. I can't believe that's a thing I can say.
I know. He set a record. I know. All right. So tomorrow we have legit fantasy football at 7:05 to 8 o'clock, and legit fantasy basketball from 8 to 9. And that'll leave us that's Thursday, and then we don't have another show till Sunday morning. So for Joey Paranormal, it's me, it's Mike Lepre, King Mike Yell. This was the world of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by legitpodcast.com. We will see you again next Wednesday. Thank you, and